James, Dallas, Texas, WBAP. Go right ahead, sir.
Just wanted to clear up a few things with the petroleum engineer. Everything he said was correct. I was actually on the rig when it exploded and was at work. We had
All right, let's slow down. Whoa. Slow down. Hold on. So you were working on this rig when it exploded?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
We had set the bottom cement plug for the inner casing string, which was the production liner for the well, and had set what's called a seal assembly in the top of the well. At that point, the BOP stack that he was talking about, the blowout preventer, was tested. Don't know the results of that test. However, it must have passed because at that point, they elected to displace the riser, the marine riser from the vessel to the seafloor. They displaced all the mud out of the riser, preparing to unlatch from the well 2 days later. So they displaced it with seawater. When they concluded the test of the BOP stack and the inner liner concluded everything was good.
All right, let me slow you down. So they do all these tests to make sure that the infrastructure can handle what's about to happen, right?
Correct. We're testing the negative pressure and positive pressure of the well, the casing, and the actual marine riser.
Okay. I'm with you. Go ahead.
All right, so after the conclusion of the test, they simply opened the BOP stack back up.
And the test, as best as you know, was sufficient.
It should have been, yes, sir. They would have never opened it back up.
Okay, next step. Go ahead.
Next step, they opened the annular, the upper part of the BOP stack.
Which has as its purpose, hold on, why do you do that?
So that you can gain access back to the wellbore.
Okay.
When you close the stack, that's basically a humongous hydraulic valve that is closing off everything from below and above. It's like a gate valve on the seafloor.
Okay.
That's a very simplistic way of explaining a BOP
no, that's
stack.
right.
It's a very
basically,
complicated piece of equipment.
It's like a plug, but go ahead.
Correct. Once they open that plug to go ahead and start cementing the top of the well, the well bore, we would cement the top, and then basically we would pull off. Another rig would slide over and do the rest of the completions work. When they opened the well is when the well kicked, and we took a humongous gas bubble kick up through the well bore. It literally pushed the seawater all the way to the crown of the rig, which is about 240 feet in the air.
I would say, so gas got into it and blew the top off of it. Now, don't hang up. I want to continue with you because I want to ask you some questions related to this, okay? Including, has this sort of thing ever happened before, and why you think it may have happened, okay? All right, back to James. That's not his real name. Dallas, WBAP. I'm not going to give the working title of what you did there either, James, but I wanted to finish. So the gentleman was right about the point that obviously some gas got into the, I'll call it the funnel, okay?
Correct. And that's not uncommon, Mark. Anytime you're drilling an oil well, there's a constant battle between what the mud weight, the drilling fluid that we use to maintain pressure on the well bore itself. There's a balance of the well's pushing gas one way and you're pushing mud the other way. So there's a delicate balance that has to be maintained at all times to keep the gas from coming back in these, what we call kicks. We always get gas back in the mud, but the goal of the whole situation is to try to control the kick, not allow the pressure differential between the vessel and the wellbore.
Well, in this case, obviously too much gas got in.
Correct. And this well had not a bad history of producing lots of gas. It was touch and go, a few times, but it's just not terribly uncommon. You're almost always going to get gas back from a well. We have systems to deal with the gas.
So what may have happened here?
Well, the sheer volume and pressure of gas that hit all at once was more than the safeties and controls we had in place could handle.
And that's not, is that like a mistake on somebody's part, or maybe it's just Mother Nature every now and then kicks up, or what?
Mother Nature every now and then kicks up. The pressures that we're dealing with out there, drilling deeper and deeper into, deeper water, deeper overall volume of the whole depth itself, You're dealing in the 30 to 40,000 pound per square inch range. You're serious pressures.
By the way, not to offend you, we just verified that you are who you are, which I'm glad. I'm sure you already knew that. I would like to hold you over to the next hour because I want to ask you a few more questions about this, as well as what happened exactly after the explosion, during the explosion and after. Can you wait with us?
Sure. I don't know how much of that I can share, but I'll do my best.
All right. Well, I don't want to get you in trouble. So to the extent you can, fine. To the extent you can't, we understand. 77381-381 when we're talking to a caller under a assumed name who was on the rig when it blew up, and we've been talking about how it happened. And now, James, I want to take you to the point when it happened. What exactly happened? You were standing where?
Obviously the gas blew the seawater out of the riser. Once it displaced all the seawater out, the gas began to spill out on the deck, up through the center of the rig floor. The rig, you have to imagine a rectangle, about 400 feet by 300 feet, with the derrick and rig floor sitting directly in the center. As this gas is now heavier than air, it starts to settle into different places. From that point, something ignited the gas, which would have caused the first major explosion.
Now, what might ignite the gas? Do you know?
Any number of things, Mark. All rig floor equipment is what they consider intrinsically safe, meaning it cannot generate a spark, so that these types of accidents cannot occur. However, with as much gas that came out as fast as it did, it would have spilled over the entire rig fairly rapidly. Within a minute, I would think that the entire rig would be enveloped in gas. Now, a lot of this stuff you can't smell, you can't taste it. It's just there, and it's heavier than oxygen. And as it settled in, it could have made it to a space that wasn't intrinsically safe. Something as simple as static electricity could have ignited the first explosion, which set off, of course, a series of explosions.